Hi, today I'm delighted because I have a new opportunity to practice my English. I try to practice English every single day. When I wake up, that is usually the time that I try to take advantage to practice my speaking, and it's a practice that really helped me to improve my speaking. But today I want to use that time not just my practice, my speaking, but to tell you, um, if you want to learn English, I'm going to explain to you the right way how you must to approach to the English, because um, you you could to approach to the English was a different way, but that is a word that that is something that I always told to my friend, people really close to me. um, you know these these guys or these girls asking me about what is the best way how you can to learn English, and because of my experience and because in my case took me about 6 years 5 years become a fluent person in English. So I had the experience to tell you what to do and what not to do, if you want to be more efficient. So the word that I would like to talk to you today is efficient. How you can approach the language in order that that you are efficient student, that um, maybe you want to learn English but you don't have enough time. So you want to learn English as soon as possible, but you want to learn English, you know investing less time that the average person. um Efficient is the word. So the way how you approach to the language is what is makes the way how you approach to the language is what is going to make the difference between maybe you last 5 years learning English, or that you just you last maybe 1 or 2 years learning English. When I say learning English, I mean to be able to communicate effectively to people. Because maybe in 1 year or in 6 months you are going to be able to improve your English. But when I say become fluent in English, I mean that you are able to communicate to people abroad, despite that those they are native speaker or no. Because it's not the same when you speak to someone who is a native speaker, and when you speak to someone who, despite that she or he speaks English. Uh, they are not English native speaker. They are learning English, and saying they have the ability to communicate in English. So, but it's not the same. There are certain kinds of difference. So today we want to focus on this thing: how to be efficient in the language. Um, the right way how you can approach the language is what I'm going to tell you today. For me, and that is my point of view, because I know an English teacher. I am just an English student who I'm really happy that finally I got the fluency. I was looking for the fluency many years ago. I wanted to become a fluent person in English during many years. I went through a lot of difficulties, a lot of disappointments in order to finally become a fluent person in English. So today, um, I feel so excited because I got it. So maybe that is the reason why I want to tell you, you know, how is the best way how you can approach your language. Okay, so um, I'm going to try to tell you, you know, I'm going to try to make a summary. It's like I would like to tell you a lot of things about how you finally, how is the best way how you can approach to the language. But I'm going to try to be really specific. Okay, for me, and as I say, that is my personal point of view. The best way how you can approach the language is, you know, when the moment when you started to learn English, maybe and that happened is that you are a beginner, and you had no idea how to start to learn English. So nowadays it's really common that people trying to learn English by themselves, and that is right. If you try to learn English by yourself, that is an effective way how you can approach the language, you know. But there are different way how you can approach the language. For me, the best way how you can approach the language is you decided to learn English by yourself is, you know, since the beginning, try to watch videos, you know, just in English. Obviously, you can to put subtitles when you are watching these videos, but try to practice your listening as soon as possible. Don't try to learn grammatical rules since the beginning. Is when I say try to approach the language watching videos, I mean that um, your best choice is try to listen these videos. Maybe you are a beginner, you are going to choose those videos really basics, that you are able to understand. So the best choice to you is try to choose um, these videos from teacher of English, that allows us English YouTube teacher who teach you how basic things in the language. Um, I don't know and the end of the video, and the description of this video, I could get you, the teacher, online teacher, YouTuber, online teacher, who are really good teaching to you English, basic thing or intermediate thing. So you can to follow them, you can to watch these videos because the reason how you must um, starting watching these videos because these people, this speaker, this teacher, they are really great because first of all they speak really clear. When you listen to videos, it's going to be very likely that you understand that despite that your current English levels, you know, uh, uh, doesn't being really enough. Despite that your English career level is not the best, I think that you have the opportunity to understand them because they speak really clear. When you hear them, you realize that they speak uh, slowly, like this. They speak like this, and they speak really clear because they are native speaker and because they are teachers. So the way how they express themselves is really good to you, who you are a beginner. So that is the best way how you can process the language. And I say that because you know um, there are lots of choice that you have in order to start to learn English. There are people who really want to learn every single word. There are lots of people who want to know um, uh, basic grammatical rules of the language. There are lots of people who want to learn every single um, tense of the sentences. I know that these people want to improve their English and they want to be really proficient, but there is a common mistake that we used to make. I think that the reason why we made these mistakes is because we want to be really good in English. Because I want to be really good in English, I want to learn, the most as I can. So obviously, our teacher, our traditional education, touch us that the best way how you can to learn something is, being really um, deeper on the on the grammatical rule, really deeper on the vocabulary, really deeper on the how you structure the sentences, on all these things. But we had a problem. That in the reality, when you face a real conversation or when you face a real video in English, despite that maybe you last a long time studying English, maybe you can spend a long time studying English, but when you watch a real video, you realize that despite of that, you are not able to understand, the most of the word that you hear. And that is when you realize, oh my God, how is possible? And there is a common question that I makes me, and that question, how is possible that despite that I've been studying English for maybe 3 or 4 years, and sometimes when I watch certain kinds of videos, I'm not able to understand every single word. How is possible? Is I am really good in English? Is I am been studying vocabulary, I am been studying grammatical rule, I am been studying different tenses of the structure of the sentence. How is possible that I can to be able to understand them in a simple video like this? I say in that moment to myself, So, and the reason because of that is because my approach to the language at the beginning when I started to study English was to focus and to spend a lot of time studying grammatical rules and things like that, But the truth is that since the beginning, is your approach to the language, watching videos, um, is the best way how you are going to is you are going to study, the sounds, is the best way how you are going to study verbs, phrasal sentences, all these things. But it's really important that you study this thing, but try you listening, and it's really important because I always say to my close friends or my daughter that when you are learning English is necessary, in the most of the case that's what happened, that you need to learn, let's say that you want to learn a word, a simple word. Obviously, the way the traditional way how we want to learn that word is by reading, you know I read the word. Now I understand what's the meaning of the word. Okay, now I know what means the word. Okay, now I know what means the word. When I read, I understand what means. But the problem is that when I listen the word, maybe in the most of the cases, that word doesn't sound like I read or like I write. So when I hear the word, oh my God, what do you say? When I realized that the word that you know someone told me is the same word that I know the meaning. Oh my God, that word meaning that, and I know that. So at that point, I realized that what happened is that I know how to read, but I didn't know how to listen that word. So now it's necessary that I learned that word over again. Because I want to learn how it sounds. You know And other thing is important that just simple word could sound, of one way when you say that word, you know, just simple word. But what happens when you need to use that word in a sentence? Maybe when you join the word to other word, these two words now are going to sound different, you know. So now you need to learn how to use that word, not just only alone. You need to use that word, incorporate that word in a sentence. And the more likely is that that word is going to sound different. That's the way how it sounds by itself. Do you know what I mean? So now let's say that you learn how to listen the word. And when you listen the word, you are able to understand the word. Okay. So now you know how to read the word and you know what is the meaning, but now you know how to you understand the word when you listen to you. Right? Now you know you need to use that word in a simple conversation. In order to do that, you need to be able to pronunciate that word of the right way, and that is how to problem because we are not English native speaker to use that word in a simple conversation. it could be really frustrating. Maybe you're going to say the word and people in front of you, is not going to have the ability to understand you. Different reasons, you know, different reasons. But sometimes it's because you are pronounced that word was the wrong way. So now you know how to read the word, you understand the word you read, you understand the word when you listen, but you have the problem that people don't understand you when you say the word. Now it's necessary that you need to learn how to say the word. So I always to say to my close friend that it's necessary that you learn the word 3 times, how to read, how to listen, now how to say the word. So it's a long process because we are talking not just one word, we are talking about a general vocabulary, you know, and not just is the only the word by itself is the word incorporated in a sentences, in a context. So I know people, it's so frustrating when you try to express your ideas and you feel that you sound ugly. So that is the reason why learning and becoming a fluent person in English is going to take you a lot of time. And what I'm saying in these videos is since the beginning, when you decided to learn English, try to incorporate the listening in the beginning, since the first day. It's so important. And when I say the listening, I mean that you need to choose the right video, but at the same time, try to choose that videos. And the same time that you listen these videos, try to repeat what you hear. I know that the beginning is going to be really hard, but nowadays, if you use the application of YouTube, I think that YouTube is a really good application. It's the best application how you can approach, how you can to learn English because you have the opportunity to put subtitles, at the same moment you are listening what you see, at the same moment you are watching the video. So I will say this is the best way how you can to understand, something. Obviously the content that you choose is going to make the difference that you frustrate or don't, because if you choose so advanced videos, the more likely is that it's going to be really hard to understand this video. So my advice to you is try to choose the right video to you, at the beginning, when you are intermediate and when you are advanced people. I think that it's possible to do that. um, if you want to know what kinds of videos I choose when I was a beginner, let me to tell in the comments. And if you write, I promise to you, I'm going to send you the right videos to you. You know. So, in summary, what I want to tell you is this. Try to process the language, uh, incorporating or watching the kinds of videos that is the right for you, and try to listen this video. Over and over again and trying to learn words and trying to learn phrases and trying to learn vocabulary through the repetitions of the language. And I have this experience because right now, I started to learn a new language is Portuguese, and the way how I approach the Portuguese language has been completely different how the way how I approach to English. And in summary, what I'm going to tell you is that I approach to the Portuguese language, um, watching videos and listening podcasts just in Portuguese and focusing in my listening and my speaking. Since the first day, I always knew that uh, I wanted to learn Portuguese by using more my listening and my speaking since the first day. I think that is the right approach, and that is the right approach for everybody. And if you are not from a country who speak English, is the right thing for you. I think that thing is going to make the difference between you spend a long time studying, maybe you spend just 2 years. That is other topic that I would like to tell you in the future. How many times it's going to take you become a fluent person, you know. But if, uh, I'm going to make other video about this in the future. Today, I wanted to tell you this. That for me is so important. Bye, man.